This video is sponsored by Fan Dominion. Celebrate your fandom with incredible merch from your favorite movies, shows, and games. Whether you're a fan of Spider-Man, Star Wars, or Demon Slayer, they've got you covered. With free worldwide shipping and discounts of up to 60% off. Click the link in the description and use my code Sadat for 10% off your next order. Hello, salutations, what it do? It's Stop the Gamer, all father do-rag gang. You know the vibes, like to subscribe, let's get it. And today, I'm trying something a little bit different, guys. I used to do the Marvel's Avengers weekly recap where I would just go over all the news from the week in Marvel's Avengers, but now that there are a lot more superhero games on the horizon, I think it would be better if I expand the weekly segment and talk about other superhero games that I'm interested in. So if there's some news, if there's some leaks, I'm going to be covering it every Friday. So if you like this, make sure you like and subscribe as well. We are currently on the road to 7,000 subs. We're only like 400 away, I think. So if you can get me there by the end of the month, I would greatly appreciate that. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into this because we got some absolute heat today, guys. Exclusive Doctor Strange game in the works from Insomniac. Now, y'all know I am a huge Doctor Strange stan. He is one of my favorite characters of all time in the comics. He is my favorite in the MCU. I absolutely love the Doctor Strange character, and I have not had a chance to actually play with him in a video game. He is currently playable in Marvel Future Revolution, but I don't want to touch that pay-to-win garbage, so I'm kind of out of luck. I was hoping that he would eventually come to Marvel's Avengers, but that looks increasingly unlikely. But apparently, Insomniac, the absolute best game developer in the business, has got the answer to all of our Doctor Strange related prayers. According to Giant Freaking Robot, they are currently in early development on a game focused on Doctor Strange. Now, as you all know, Insomniac is already working on a Spider-Man 2, as well as a Wolverine solo game, which was revealed at the PlayStation Showcase. I, of course, covered that live and was absolutely losing my mind, as most of you were as well. So far, the only rumors I heard about Insomniac in regards to another superhero game was that they're potentially working on another multiplayer game, but apparently this might in fact be true. If you're not familiar with Giant Freaking Robot, I certainly was not. They can be pretty reliable because they assume that we would be skeptical if we saw something like this. They gave a handy link to other stories that they apparently were able to get correct thanks to their inside sources, and it is quite a list. They got this scoop on Indiana Jones 5, Professor X and Doctor Strange 2, a new Punisher series, as well as the recasting of Morpheus in the Matrix 4. So while you should still always be skeptical, they look like they do have some juice when it comes to inside scoops. So I'm definitely going to be taking this a little bit seriously. Now, according to them, they said that at this point, we have learned that the game is in development. That means it's likely in the early stages. The source was unable to confirm a release date for the new game title. So now the Wolverine game is also in early development at Insomniac and currently has no release date, while Spider-Man 2 is supposed to come out sometime in 2023, which tells me that the Doctor Strange game is definitely earlier in development than the Wolverine game, because obviously I think they would have had it at the showcase if it was that close to ready. So I'm expecting maybe realistically, if Wolverine comes out in 2024, maybe Doctor Strange will come out later in the year, most likely 2025, which feels like a long time. But, you know, things have been going by pretty fast, and the fact that a Doctor Strange game potentially is being made at all is definitely enough to sustain me. And of course, it's not like we won't have superhero games to tide us over. We are currently experiencing a superhero boom in the gaming space, so there's going to be plenty of games to hold us over in the meantime. And if this is in fact true, I will 100%, no cap, name my firstborn child Insomniac, whether it's a middle name or the first name. I will get an Insomniac tattoo. I will go all the way, pledge my fealty to Insomniac Games. And if you guys, you know, want to send me some stuff for free, give me some early access, I would 100% not say no to that. Now, speaking of leaks, we got some spice from the Suicide Squad game. For those that don't know, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a upcoming multiplayer game from Rocksteady, the same people behind the Arkham games. They're also going to be dropping Gotham Knights. Both games are coming out next year. This game, of course, is centered around the Suicide Squad in a world where the Justice League have gone evil, and it's your job to stop them. Now, Gotham Knights has so far gotten a lot more information about what the game is going to be like, as well as some gameplay footage from actual missions. Whereas with Suicide Squad, so far, all we have is a cinematic trailer. Until apparently now, DC Fandom is going to be tomorrow, which I will, of course, be live streaming if you want to join me while watching it. So we should get a lot more information there. But ahead of that, we have from Boring Without Leaks. He posted this in our Gaming Leaks and Rumors. He claims to have inside knowledge about the actual development of this game, exactly what type of game it's going to be. And apparently it's going to be a live service game. Very interesting. Now, here's what he says he knows. Pre-ordering will get you early access to a raid-esque set of storyline missions in which you take on Ra's al Ghul. Rocksteady have been spending a lot of time focusing on crafting a roadmap that they know they'll be able to deliver on for around the first year of content, delivering content consistently whilst also living up to promises that they are given has been a huge focus for them. New members being added to the squad isn't a priority, while adding more playable characters is a possibility. The majority of content updates will be related to continual story and location additions with new missions, loot, etc. Man, somebody should send this to the devs over at Crystal Dynamics because this sounds awesome. Loot is a pretty big part of the game. Obviously, with it being a looter shooter, it mainly impacts weapons and the mobility capabilities of all the characters. Now, if true, this will make it direct competition with Marvel's Avengers. Before, people have compared other games to Marvel's Avengers like Future Revolution, Midnight Suns, which turned out to be completely different games and not really comparable. But in this case, this is a superhero game that is a live service multiplayer looter. This is direct. This is a direct competitor for Marvel's Avengers, and if what they're saying is true, sounds like it's going to absolutely blow it out of the water unless Marvel's Avengers has a huge turnaround in 2022. Obviously, when it comes to live service games, you should absolutely be very skeptical because they do not have the best track record, but when they do work, they are absolutely amazing for not just the fans, but also, of course, the companies that make it because they tend to generate a ridiculous amount of money. Now, Rocksteady is a very good company that I have a pretty decent amount of trust in, along with Sucker Punch and Insomniac. They are my absolute favorite studios, so I am definitely going to be keeping tabs on this game because it definitely has the potential to replace Marvel's Avengers as the main game for my channel. So definitely excited to see what they reveal at DC Fandom. Speaking of Marvel's Avengers, another week, more drama. Most of you should know by now that Marvel's Avengers last Thursday broke their pre-launch promise to only sell cosmetics in the marketplace when they started selling XP boosters without warning. Players understandably did not take that very well. Not only did Crystal Dynamics promise that they weren't going to do this sort of thing, they also previously nerfed XP, claiming that it was because players were just too confused by having that many skill points before eventually rolling out the XP boosters as well as double and quadruple XP promotions, obviously proving that the reason that they gave for XP nerfs was a complete lie. And when they did roll out the XP boosters, they led people to believe that they weren't going to be sold. And then they promptly started selling them without warning, no explanation, no blog, no tweets, no live stream, absolutely nothing. They just put them in the marketplace and went completely radio silent across all their social media platforms. Of course, that prompted the players to go into an uproar. All of gaming media seemed to chime in, dunking on the game. You heard from Forbes and Paul Tassi, IGN, even Skill Up went in on them, but Marvel's Avengers did not respond at all until the next day where they made a post on Reddit where they claimed that they were looking to have open communication, but promptly threw that out the window by essentially accusing the community of being toxic and harassing them, and they promptly disappeared right after that. And we didn't hear from them for about a week until on Wednesday, where they showed off some concept art for the fall raid. And then today they did their usual Thursday blog where they promoted a double XP weekend, as well as recycling the MODOK nameplates that they rolled out, I think a few months ago when his show came on Hulu. But there was absolutely no mention anywhere in the blog about the entire XP controversy, which is quite frankly amazing that they decided after a week of strategizing, the best solution is to just pretend like literally nothing happened. As you see in the blog, they actually are showcasing the paid consumables, but there is no comment about it at all. Under development updates, they of course, as usual, keep it very brief and very vague. They're planning on fixing issues with various outfits, allowing players to get those terrible exotics from the mega level threat once per character, once per week, instead of just once per account. And they're saying they're working on several developer blogs. No information about exactly what those blogs are or when they're coming out. And obviously that did not go over very well. We saw a fresh wave of outrage and several high profile members of the Marvel's Avengers community saying that they are quitting the game. We already had a wave of content creators from Marvel's Avengers stop playing the game altogether already. And now we have Wolverine, aka All Father Designs, who is pretty well known in the community for his really cool concept art. He recently announced that he is uninstalling the game. He was also later in the day permanently banned from the Play Avengers subreddit. So this is all a pretty big mess in the Marvel's Avengers community. Still no communication from Crystal Dynamics after all this time. And I think that for the long-term prospects of the game, they really need to get a handle on this communication thing, because this is definitely not sustainable. If their goal is to continue supporting this game for years to come, like they said pre-launch, they need to get a handle on communication. They need to actually address the community and make that a long-term consistent thing, not just when it's convenient for them, because this is the worst state I've ever seen the game, not just in terms of the actual product, but the community itself. I have not quit yet. I have decided that I'm no longer going to be spending any money on Marvel's Avengers because I can't justify it anymore with the blatant disrespect. But I do want the game to do well, and the only way they're going to do that is if they own up to their mistakes and commit to having a more productive ongoing relationship with the community, because this whole thing cannot continue. At this rate, the game is not going to make it past 2022. That's all. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel. Special shout out to our sponsor, Fandom. If you want some awesome merch from some of your favorite franchises, make sure you hit the links in the description and use my code Ssktjl for 10% off your order. I'm Ssktjl Gamer, signing out.